kickstand.
Behind the kickstand.
Okay.
And that's how we open the show.
Hi.
Hello, everybody.
Behind the kickstand.
Huh.
Hello.
Our special guest fell.
Dog.
No, I think he's just drunk.
Off of the
Wait till
hatred.
next week.
Off of the hatred.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Just remind myself.
Get drunk.
Okay.
Get drunk.
You can get here first, you know.
Okay. And get drunk.
Welcome to the post-credit show where I am Nick,
I'm Tony.
I'm Chris.
talk about the games,
do that
movies.
last time.
I know.
Things
the
we've
games
done.
that we have done over the last week.
Things we've done.
Woo!
It's been a mildly busy week.
I've watched a lot of movies. I can indeed say that.
Nah, I got tons.
They're not new, most of them.
No.
But I have watched a bevy of films.
Although I can confirm I've watched one movie that you two haven't seen yet.
You have.
So,
How did you like Star Wars?
Star Wars: The Last Jedi. Let me tell you a story about how this movie is way different than lightsabers. Darth Vader
No!
is Luke's father.
Bullshit.
I haven't believed it since Empire Strikes Back. I refuse to believe it now.
No, this movie is weird. It's wild.
Weird.
Weird.
It's
It's so weird.
It's
So
so weird.
weird.
Like, they changed so many things that you think about a Star Wars movie. There's so many different plot points where you expect something to happen, and then just, well, it doesn't happen, or it just changes things that you think about, the way we think about the Force and what you can do with the Force.
Okay.
All drugs.
To be fair, people complained that the last movie
Was way too much like.
was way too much like the other
new
Star
now
Wars
they're-
movies.
And
Movies.
now this
Too
movie is
different.
wildly different than Empire Strikes Back.
So are we hoping J.J. Abrams can find a balance with the next one?
The Force.
Okay.
See what I did there?
The balance of the Force. Maybe that's what they should call it. The balance of the Force.
Maybe.
So
The balance of
and
this
yes,
trilogy.
the ending of this movie is so open-ended that I honestly don't know what J.J. Abrams is going to do for a follow-up for this entire trilogy. The way that the story ends, the way that where these characters leave off, and sort of
I think
the
anybody
journey
can do
that they go through. It's just watching these characters again. I'm not sure what they're going to do, and I think that's a good thing for a whole, because you know what? And a lot of this movie is talking about how you have to let go of the past, and a lot of the times you have to. Yes, the past is the past, but we need to move forward. You need to write your own story as a character in this universe. You need to have your own, you can't rely on the past Jedi teachings and stuff like that. And it's like, oh, you want to learn how to be a Jedi. That's not what it learns.
So Luke jumps on Rey's back.
Already did that. That was already done.
I was gonna say that was
Old
just them
school.
being silly in the parking lot somewhere.
It's done.
She was on his back, and they were just like
He was on his
and
back,
yeah,
yeah.
he was on her back, and he's just like pointing.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh,
But they
Mark
actually
Hamill.
do it in the movie.
Okay, so
That's-
speaking about Mark Hamill, I think this was his best role ever.
Okay, to be fair, he's only really ever had
That's true.
four and a minute.
And I was funny.
4 in a minute?
It's
Well, would be his fourth one.
yes,
I-
and
yeah,
so
I guess, yeah.
and so yeah, like the movie does pick up the last where the Force Awakens ends off with Rey giving him his lightsaber, and there's a clear awkward pause where, as the audience, you're like, he's got to say something, right? He's got to say something. This character's
Walks
doing.
away.
I'm not gonna say how he walks away, but it's just the funniest.
Pushes her off.
The sequence is just the funniest thing in the
Just
world,
jumps
because it's
off
like
the
she.
I don't want this shit.
But yeah, like,
Throws the lightsaber. Man.
but like this movie is Mark Hamill's role, I think, is one of the coolest roles he's done in a long time, and
Weird do you say that because he's not a fan of it.
I was gonna say he's not a fan, and from what I've
It's
the
super
internet
weird.
right now.
The internet is super on
Super
fire
hard
because
to-
of this movie.
Well,
Super hard to avoid it.
The only thing I've pretty much seen is The Force Awakens sucks because, and there's that group of people, and then The Force Awakens is the best Star Wars movie because. So there's the people that think like this movie's awesome and amazing, and it like really helps the Star Wars franchise, yes, grow and move in new
Oh, you mean The
directions.
Last Jedi.
Last Jedi, sorry, yes.
Yeah.
And then The Last Jedi, why it is such a horrible movie and should be stricken from canon.
The reason why they think that is because there are so many things that they do with so many different characters that they can't rewind.
Right.
And the way I look at it is you have to look at it as a good movie, not just a good Star Wars film. The reason, like, he takes so many good risks and so many sort of not endangers lots of the characters, for lack of a better term, but I think it pays off. All of the things that he puts into this movie, and
okay, I'll be the person that says it. The original Star Wars movies, by the way, story, not that good.
Blasphemy.
They were good.
Just say
I like them.
They are good movies.
I got about 6 donuts here. I can just throw at you right now.
But as a whole, if you look at the story of the original Star
They are
Wars,
super cookie cutter.
one, very cookie cutter, and two,
Yeah.
like some of the line delivery and others. Like if you go back and watch those, you're like, you're happy
Watching
that
gems.
well, you're happy that like Harrison Ford ad libs. I know, because that adds so much to that like
And you know what?
scene.
Yes, there are sequences in this movie where it's genuinely funny. There's definitely funny points in this movie.
I would hope so.
Yeah,
Leia, wow, she's really good in this movie too.
good because
yeah,
even the last movie,
yeah,
the
Carrie Fisher
kind of, which is
she was kind of like passable, but they really knocked her role out of the park in this movie.
Oh, nice.
And
For her last one.
last one.
Yeah. So that's what I mean. Like it's. I don't mind Star Wars when people go like, "Oh, the story and the characters are different," and I'm like, Luke
Right.
Skywalker was a whiny brat, and then an overconfident prick. So
Now he's
And
a
where would
cookie.
you- sure, like
and now he's this weird hermit that's thrown himself in this island because of all the mistakes that he's done. What mistakes you don't know,
yeah.
but he's clearly hermited himself into this island for reasons, and he's just knocks it out of the park. If there's two issues that I have with this movie, it's not what the internet is hating on.
Sure, I
One-
don't know what the internet's really hating
I'm
on
trying to
other than
avoid
Luke
the
Skywalker. Yeah.
One, the movie is way too freaking long. It is 2.5 hours, not
fine.
including
That's not long enough.
not including the credits. You could clearly point
Lord of
out
the Rings did longer.
it is. They did longer, but the problem with this movie is that they fit so much into the movie, and ultimately, yes, all the story pieces jive and make sense in the overall Star Wars canon, but there are clear story plot points that did not have to be there. Not much of a spoiler to say this, but there's a casino sequence that they could have rewrote that entire thing to just include what they needed to do for that sequence. They did not need to include that entire casino sequence. It just felt bloated and unnecessary.
Was there an Olaf short before this one?
Man, that would have made this movie even longer.
Pushing 250.
I like warm hugs. Down, 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 down.
So, yeah, no, like this movie was very, very long, and there were clear sequences where it's okay, cool. This is it. This is the end, the last sequence, and then another one, and then another one, and then another sequence, and then another sequence, and not that it drags on. It just adds more story and says, okay, cool. So there's more to do with these characters. There's more to do in this environment.
Yeah.
And it does it really well. It does.
And
it
the
does.
new cast was pretty.
The new cast was good. They because they added Rose, she's the Asian character. They added in
Benicio del Toro.
Benicio del Toro as a character. I think he was the best new character they've added to the Star Wars universe, and it's not so much of a spoiler, but I want to see more of what that character is.
The collector.
He's just the collector. He's just
combining.
Patterson
Star Wars
Oswalt,
Just like Patton Oswalt told us it would.
just as he foretold.
He is our messiah.
Who's that from Jurassic Park? The
Chris Pratt.
No. The old one.
Chris Pratt.
The new
Jeff Goldblum.
Jeff Goldblum.
No, the girl.
Oh, Bryce Dallas Howard.
Yeah, her. She's in this movie.
You mean Gwen Stacy?
No.
Sure.
What?
No, like the original Jurassic Park blonde.
Oh, I don't know.
Her.
Oh, I don't know.
The paleo.
I know who he's talking about.
I can't remember the
She
actress's
is.
name, but she's in the movie
Fact
as a major character. They introduce her early on, and it's super cool. Like her role, you think
Jeff Goldblum.
Seriously.
you learn to love her, and yeah, this movie has a lot of different layers to it, and I can see why people really don't like it, just because it toys with the original Star
Laura
Wars.
Den.
Sure.
Yes, that one.
Name.
Yes.
Her.
Like I know her. I don't know her name.
No one knows.
I
well,
did.
As soon as I saw her, I was like, "Oh man,
Oh, lady from Jurassic Park.
she's gonna turn her head and she's gonna get really confused."
Do
by
you know
a
what?
giant
In all honesty,
Brachiosaurus."
I would hate to be one of those actors where that's how people, you're like, oh, you know that one.
You do it all the time.
Yeah.
I know, but I'd hate to be one of those actors where that's how you're known, is you're like, oh, remember the blonde chick from Jurassic Park? And everybody's like, oh yeah, her!
What's her name?
And no one knows.
Without a phone, we would not know.
Because at least you can sit there going, oh, remember Jeff Goldblum's character from Jurassic Park? Killer.
Sam Neill.
Samuel Jackson.
But that's what I mean. Like, at least, like, oh man, I'd hate to be one of those actors who has like that one
At least
part.
people would know you.
People know me.
But no, I'm saying they just don't know your name.
I'm Nick.
This movie.
I'm Chris.
This is the Grinch, and that's Tony.
Tony. This is Tony.
Oh, hold on. The Grinch is gonna check.
Oh
I
no,
wouldn't
he's
do
gonna
that.
get sorely disappointed.
Oh,
Brian.
I hate this. Fuck this game.
Before we break
I
something.
hate this game. I will say this movie has one of the best lightsaber fight sequences I have ever seen in
Yeah.
Star Wars.
nothing really beats Obi-Wan Kenobi versus Darth Vader in episode
This
4.
one's pretty.
I don't know, Darth Maul and Obi-Wan.
This one's pretty close. This one's pretty good, and it's not even just that it's a good lightsaber battle, but the events leading up to it that
Help it.
caused the lightsaber battle, it makes it even more interesting.
You know, with all the special editions that they have done and subsequently like added to the original trilogy, because every time they re-release the original trilogy, something new gets added.
Mm-hmm.
So even though they're not the special editions anymore, it's like, oh,
Well, now that Disney owns it,
well, no, but it's like they've always kept squeaking in new stuff. I do not know why they don't change that fight between Darth Vader and Obi-Wan Kenobi.
that really like lame.
Okay, you cannot say that anymore. Rogue One proves Darth Vader can go total badass.
Through a hallway.
in-
Against a bunch of non-Force people.
I know, but then he goes up against Obi-Wan Kenobi, and they're
Do you wanna
they're
re-
touching tips. Like,
Would you recast that? Like, would you just?
I feel
redo-
like there's a way to film it where,
They're doing more flips.
and not even flips, but at least
No.
like something.
I get what you're coming.
He's toying with them.
I get where you're coming from.
I understand that piece
But-
a little bit too, but they're gonna make an Obi-Wan Kenobi movie that's gonna take place probably right before Episode 4, where Obi-Wan Kenobi's going
I
to
don't
be
think it's
kicked
going to
butt.
be right before. But
And
we have no confirmation of that.
yeah.
I get that, but you can't do one after. That'd be a
No,
pretty.
I'm saying you can
It'll be
do
during the
that.
Clone
You
Wars.
almost not
It's
too
gonna be
far-
Adventures of Obi-Wan Kenobi during the Clone
I know,
Wars.
but you can't tell me that. Okay, so Episode 3 ends. Luke Skywalker's born. Episode 4 starts. He's 17.
16, 17.
So 17 years pass, and Obi-Wan goes from total badass to.
Old guy. Rusty.
To be fair,
He's
that's what happens
rusty.
with Luke Skywalker too.
I don't know that yet.
He's rusty.
He's kind of a hermit in that movie.
Hermit's fine, but
He's rusty.
he should still be able to. Can he use the Force?
Without spoilers, I'm gonna say maybe.
Because that's the
No
thing. Like,
spoilers.
I just with all the additions, if you're gonna change crap,
No,
Right.
that fight's
especially after
I guess so.
especially after Darth Vader,
Like, do you have another like actor come in as
Alec Guinness,
like is
No.
or you film from behind.
But then you have to also
No,
take
that's
into
a bad,
effect.
That'd be a bad scene.
You also have to take into account like the way the environment looks and the way the
get that
sets
piece.
work. So I feel like there's a lot more tech to that involved than
Oh, there is.
not just face tech.
Oh no, it's not just face tech.
No,
You got to
I
redo a whole
wouldn't
lot.
do
but
it. I wouldn't.
I wouldn't. You're right. I would not. I think
It's
I would
just as we're putting these anthology films in, the directors and stuff should start realizing like, and it's cool that this, like lightsaber fights get better as we go forward because
Yes.
that's fine. Fighting styles change, all that jazz. But
And maybe there's something in his head he didn't really want to.
really
didn't
the
wanna
big
do it.
the big piece is, and maybe, but the big piece is like you go from again Darth Vader.
That's my foot.
We're gonna say,
that's my
like-
foot.
We're gonna say what
Nah, that's a bone.
we're gonna say
In my
like
foot.
what a week before, like Rogue One happens, and then a week later Darth Vader
Not
fights.
even, I don't think.
Right, Darth Vader fights Obi-Wan Kenobi, and all of a sudden he goes from like to
Once again,
Ting, ting,
against
ting.
a bunch of guys who don't have.
To be
the
fair,
it
he-
doesn't mean your force powers stop working.
To be
But he's
fair-
never used the force in that fight.
Another problem.
To be fair,
Because really, all he did in
Okay.
that hallway was this.
okay, so here's the thing about Darth Vader. You have to realize as soon as they started killing off all the Jedi from Order 66, he has had no one to spar with until that one moment.
Maybe.
Pook! Pook!
Oh, this is what the lightsabers do. I totally forgot this is what the lightsabers...
I forgot when they hit another lightsaber.
They
This
make
is what
that
happens.
choo.
Maybe all the combined force powers affect
Neat.
one another.
Maybe. I don't know. That one always just makes me giggle now when you watch, like...
When you rewatch it.
Well, you watch episodes 1 through 3 and, like, Anakin's flipping and this and that and everything else. And then you can understand that, okay,
Maybe
now he's
he's
part
maybe
he's part
he's
robot.
rusty.
He's got metal
actually
legs.
rusting.
He got metal
So you understand he's not jumping around like a crazy person. But then you see Rogue One and you're like...
He's wrecking face.
Yeah. Like, this is the Darth Vader I am afraid of now. And even come episode 6, those lightsaber fights got better.
Yeah.
Between him
Oh,
and
they
Luke
got better
Skywalker.
as
Like,
the
Yeah.
whole series went on.
and Luke Skywalker, obviously. Like, him being crappy with a lightsaber, I understand. He's, never held one and doesn't want to cut his hand off. But Obi-Wan, like, I get Alec Guinness was not a spry, young person. And again, Star Wars, when it first came out, was not expecting to be...
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, that's if you're gonna redo everything in the old shows, you might
just
as well
leave
just
it.
touch it all up.
Leave it.
Touch it all up.
Leave
Speed
it.
up the scene even.
Leave it.
So they can all just poke each other really fast.
Leave it.
No, I think I'm with Chris on this.
Oh,
I
get you.
I say they leave it. They touch it up with more sound effects or make the lightsabers look a little more modern.
That's my other problem too, is you can still see the metal stick underneath.
Yeah. But now that Disney owns it, we could see a total 4K re-release of that entirely glorious, just bad-looking movie.
Well, and that's the thing is Disney's like they own the distribution rights to the original. We might actually get the original,
Theatrical release.
the actual theatrical release
in
on
4K.
Because that's what I'm hoping
real
for.
cheap plastic ships.
Yeah.
You can actually see this.
No.
I actually got to see the Death Star once. The model that they used in the
Yeah.
movies. Man, that thing is amazing. It's massive. It's probably as big as this table.
Well, we had the
It's
Star
super
Wars
cool.
exhibit come here, and then Disney now has a bunch of that stuff on exhibit in Disneyland.
Yeah, but this was before the
Yeah.
the Disney stuff.
It's my foot now.
It was in the Science Fiction Hall of Fame or something in Seattle,
Sitting on it.
which was super cool.
No, she's just sitting on it. She's not chewing on your foot.
But yeah, watch Star Wars.
Yeah.
That's a good movie.
Good.
It's a good movie. I'm very much into that film. In terms of other movies, I think that's... I caught up on Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah.
I guess we were on a hiatus. I didn't realize that.
So yeah, that one was
Yeah.
the stuff dealing with Rosa,
Yeah.
and I can't think of his name.
I don't know. That guy.
Mexican guy who's in like everything, playing the like main thug.
Oh, you're right. You're him. I know him.
Oh.
Yeah, like the cliffhanger ended with the cafe sequence, right? Where it's like where he was talking to
Yes.
Holt. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Danny Trejo?
That's the one. See, I knew his name. It just wasn't
Danny
coming
Trejo.
to me. Yeah.
Trejo.
I like that sequence. I actually had a really good time, family dinner time, and they're just sitting at a table, just not even talking.
Yeah.
Family dinner was great,
Because he's Rosa's dad.
Oh, okay.
which
I
actually
still
makes a
not
lot of
even-
sense.
I'm still haven't done the previous season.
But it worked out pretty. Like and then you get all the people online because it is a very stuff happens in said episode, and you get the people online now that are like, I compliment this show for taking such a risk, and I'm like, or it's just a good show in general, and you should just watch it.
Yes. I like the direction they're putting that character in, and it makes a lot of sense.
But it's funny because it's that show right from day one. Captain Holt's been gay the entire series. Rosa,
Ow,
okay,
you're not
spoilers,
biting- you're
because
not
it's not really
biting my
spoilers. The
foot.
premise of the
Yeah,
entire
no.
thing, Rosa comes out as bi,
Oh, okay.
Which that's fine.
which is fine. But like,
And I like that.
my Facebook lit up with like all these people like, it's great that this show is taking such risks, and I'm like, Holt's been gay since episode 1,
and still is very gay.
and very like, yes, he points it out quite constantly,
like every other episode.
and how hard it was coming up in
In
the NYPD as a gay black man, and you're sitting there going like, I'm confused by you people.
Mhm.
Maybe you should watch the show. Cause yeah, and I mean it
I'm
was.
trying.
You're fine. You're watching it already, and you're not.
We're not talking about.
We're talking about the people that tuned in for this one episode because someone told them to, and you're
Or
like,
watch
you're
the
like,
clips.
or
on
yeah,
YouTube.
or like, oh, that's a yeah. So either way, no, but those were good
Yes.
episodes because yeah, it was a 2-parter.
In terms of games, I've finished Virginia.
Excellent.
I don't understand that game.
Cool.
I need to go back and sort of read a synopsis because it's like I said before, it's a game with no voice work.
Right.
So a lot of the story is
Sign
told.
language?
No, well, it's all told through character interactions, facial animations, you reading reports and stuff on desks and stuff like that. But yeah, that game is super weird. I'm glad I'm done it because I've been wanting to finish it for some time,
Yeah.
and it does have a visual style to it. So the Steam Winter Sale is up, so
That's what I was just gonna.
Virginia must be on there somewhere. I bought it for like $2, so it'll probably be
Nice.
like 4 or 5. I want to get. It is very much a walking simulator. I don't want. I don't want to. I don't want to devolve it to that point, but it is very much that. There is some very light collectibles to look for, but for the most part, it is a walking, point and click simulator. And I think I'm kind of done with those for a little bit, even though I heard so many good things about What Remains of Edith Finch.
Mm-hmm.
I heard some great stories.
But you can only take so many of those
walking simulators.
walking sims before, yeah.
Yeah, like they're great in short bursts. That's fine because Virginia probably only took about 3 hours to finish, and so yeah, and there's no run button, which is the most infuriating part of that game. I hate a walking simulator which doesn't give me the option to like even brisk jog.
Mm-hmm.
Not run, but like a brisk jog.
That's my thing, because if I'm walking through a house and I've Gone Home, I think that was.
Gone
right?
Home was the big one where you didn't need a run button. I think,
But
it didn't feel like you needed a run button in that one.
at the same time, if I'm walking around my own house, I know where things are. It's not like I have to be like.
Yeah.
I can take a brisk jog down a hallway, especially if I've been down that hallway before.
My big thing is if it's in a house, I get it. I don't run in a house. That's sort of my thing. How I was brought up. But if I'm outside, if I'm walking in a field or in a
Should be able to run.
I should be able to have that jog.
I've never made it up the stairs, but I couldn't run.
But yeah, look, I've been doing that. The Hitman has a phone on the game, or a phone on the Android.
A phone on
A
the
phone
game.
on the game.
A phone on the game. A game on the mobile devices. It's Hitman Sniper. If you've ever played the Silent Scope games from the arcade,
Yep.
have you played those?
I think I've seen them. I never.
It was a giant
played them.
sniper
Yeah,
rifle.
yeah.
on the
I
thing.
think I've seen them.
It's basically that on a phone, and it was free. I like the fact that it's basically Silent Scope on a mobile game for the most part, but you shoot people.
Stop chewing on me.
I've never actually played the new Hitman series, so
There was that
The
one
episodic
that's-
stuff?
Yeah, I've seen that.
it's
I
actually
don't know
apparently
if I
really
want it.
good.
It's supposed to be really
I never
good.
got into the Hitman game.
Like,
And
it's-
that's the other problem, is you kind of have to be Hitman-ish.
yeah, like I've tried.
My understanding about those Hitman games, the episodic ones, is that it's a video game, and it knows it's a video game, so it lets you do really dumb things.
Yep.
In regards to stealth.
Guys, Resident Evil 4 is on sale.
Got it.
I have it on.
Do you have this edition?
Yes,
Are you
No, do
sure?
you have
This is the
compu-
Ultimate HD
Do
edition.
you have it on the computer?
I have it on my PlayStation.
That's not the Ultimate HD edition.
Yes, it is.
Not this one. This is the PC version of the Ultimate Edition version.
I'm good.
And then just playing ukulele, still on the Switch. For some reason, I can't get off of the first level because it's so darn pretty.
It is a very pretty level. Pancakes,
The
stop
music-
walking around.
The music's good. It looks good. It plays like an old N64 game. There are definitely moments where I get really, really frustrated with it, just like I did with
So it's a good
Banjo-Kazooie.
game, then.
Yes, but like not a bad frustrated though. It's like I know where I went wrong.
Yep.
It's one of those games where the game clearly
Sit.
gives you all of the mechanics that you need to, finish that section or beat this boss.
Yep.
You clearly are not getting it because you haven't mastered the controls, but it's just enough. It's just less infuriating enough that you want to keep going back at it.
Yep. No,
And
that's definitely that game.
It's so good, and the music is so damn catchy. Like that's almost half the reason why I haven't left the first world is because of that stupid music. Like I left it, expanded it, went back into the first world just to do more stuff.
Yeah, I expanded it, went back in, and I'm like, okay.
I gotta get to another world.
Let's go to another world
Nope.
and just see. And I know I made it to the other book, and I think that's where I unlocked it. I'm done. And then I shut it off, and I haven't played it again since because I've been playing Xenoblade Chronicles.
Right. That was my toss up. It's like I want to play Xenoblade Chronicles 2, but I feel like that's
Very
way more of a
time-consuming.
it's a time sink. Those JRPGs are all time sinks.
Fractured Butthole is 50% off.
I could get lower than
Nice.
You can get lower than that.
that. Its butthole can get lower than that.
Are you getting it?
I don't know.
So that's what I've been up to.
Yeah.
And then just getting stuff finalized for end of the year content.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, that took me all of 20 minutes to figure out.
It took me a long time because
I've started on number 1, as you can
I'm
clearly
good,
see.
other than that last thing.
doing a lot of Pokemon Go too. The water Pokemon have made an appearance in the game.
Shark.
From the Sharpedo, Carvana, Sealo, Walrein, Milotic. So all the water Pokemon from the Hoenn generation, the Ruby Sapphire, are in the game now. And Delibird is in the game. The long-awaited Delibird.
That's what I've been waiting for to get back in.
I can't get in at all.
You have some issues with it. Sorry to hear that. You have to start from level 1.
No, I'm not. I said, if it does not let me back in, I'm done.
We'll get you to start at level 1.
No.
It's easy.
No.
It's easy.
Stop touching my phone.
It's just here. I'll show you.
No. Go away. So that's
yeah,
everything?
Yeah, that's sort of what I've been up to. Just watching the occasional Oilers game here and there,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which we're doing all right.
We are.
We're
Hey,
getting-
we have the longest streak of wins since this season.
Ah!
We've beat our original win streak by 1.
Can you 5 points out of a playoff spot?
And you know what?
Is that good? Ish.
It's
Problem is, you got so many teams to jump. That's the problem.
yeah. We have
So okay, here's my question about this: how the points work.
yes,
You get 2 points if you win.
correct.
Yes.
You get 1 point per team if you tie.
There's no time.
No, overtime. Sorry.
If you make it to overtime,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
get a point.
And then if you lose, you get 0.
Correct.
So in the best case scenario, the team we play, we'll have to win, and then everybody above us goes into overtime
That would suck.
for them, because we get more points. And if that happens constantly,
Then that's still not helping us because you're only getting 1 point at a time.
Because whoever wins overtime gets also 2 points.
is that so? Okay, I didn't know that.
So you're actually giving extra points away. So you're hoping everybody above you loses.
Okay, all right, then. All right, so I didn't realize that you get points too.
Yeah.
Yep. Nope. You're.
All right.
He's learning.
Yeah.
He has
What?
to
I
learn
thought-
We're helping.
I only have
I'm-
experience from Pokemon. All right,
I'm
so
just, okay, we're not criticizing.
No, you're learning, and it's definitely no. The point system when it comes to sports
Stupid.
is always stupid, and you have to like every sport is different, which is the other problem. So you're like you're watching baseball, and you're like,
We
so
need
what
to
do they
do-
have to
we
do
need
to
to do
get
the
this
soccer
one? And
way.
it's like, oh, they have to win this game, but you know this team, that team, and this team have to lose, and this team has to tie. Well, what happens if that team loses? Well, then the whole thing's shot, and you're going, huh?
The soccer way is better.
How does soccer go?
If you win, it's 3 points.
Ah,
If you take it to extra or something, it's only 2.
stop.
I agree.
Hi, kisses.
Anyways, so
I'll
that's sort of
jump
what
right
I'm
on this
so,
since you're
so-
Nick's kissing his dog.
kissing his dog kisses.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've been continuing with Mr. D.
Mr. D.
I still haven't done season 2. I haven't really watched much of it this week. I do love the guest cameos that come into that show.
Mhm.
They are very Canadian.
Oh yes.
Mhm.
Stop biting.
Another NHL player shows up
Oh yeah.
in one of the earlier episodes, and then this episode I just watched, a Canadian poker star. is in the
Daniel
show, and
Negreanu?
and he is the main focus of this episode.
Because Daniel Negreanu's the only poker player I know.
Yeah, that's exactly
And-
who it is. He's down on his luck, so he has to stay with Mr. Dean.
That's funny. Ironic and funny.
The librarian in the show has turned out to be like a huge dick.
That sounds like a librarian thing to do, though.
Well, some of the jokes that he references, like is back with this episode, they were doing a poker tournament to get Daniel Negreanu back on his feet, so he could win some money from people. And the librarian's like, okay, I don't know how to play this game, but I'll do it. I'll watch it. I'll learn how to play it on my spare. And the joke turned around to, well, you're a librarian. Isn't all your time is spare?
Ah!
Savage.
Savage burn. Get some ointment for that person.
Which is great. But yeah, it's still good. The awkward stuff, seriously, is really hard to just... It does remind me of The Office.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned that. And
Yeah. And they're still doing it even in season 2. Yeah, and then I actually started a new game finally.
Ooh.
I know, right? I started Fractured Butthole.
Yes.
Yeah.
The game I'm looking at right now,
Yes.
whether I should get the season pass
I don't have the season pass. I
or
just have
not.
the thing.
The $50 for the season pass. Or...
Well, no. So $40 or another $15 for the season pass or $30 for the season pass.
That's a silly purchase.
So that's the thing. Do I get the season pass now for like half off?
I don't even know what's in the season pass.
The DLC.
Well, yeah, like I don't know what the DLC.
I
You're
don't know.
not shocked.
Relics of
Ow.
Zaron,
is.
Danger Deck.
Which is the danger room. From
I feel like you would have enough fun with the
Receive
first.
an exclusive in-game assistant.
The towel-y.
Yeah, he's in there. I have that actually. He makes comments every once in a while.
They made a big deal about that towel-y pre-order bonus.
I know. It is pretty much like the walking around is pretty much the same thing going through people's houses and
Yeah.
going through.
Bunch of kids playing superhero.
It actually tied into the first one really well, kind of.
I will not receive my extra copy of Stick of Truth.
Oh,
Wait. Is it because you already own it?
Yeah.
No.
that's fine.
So you can't even gift it to someone. That's boo.
No, I know. That's
That's
weird.
lame.
It's there. I mean, obviously, in this one they were going to expand upon the characters, which I already think you can go into more people's houses than you could before. I'm not too far into it. I think it's a goal. I want to say it's a trophy. I haven't actually looked into it. Where you take a shit in everybody's toilet,
That's fantastic.
and you have to. It's a bunch of different button combinations. You
Also,
have
it's
to
like
do.
a quick time event.
Kind of, and it ranks, and everyone's different toilet has a different rank.
Oh, God.
Quick turd event.
Cartman's is not the highest, which I was actually surprised about that I've run into.
All right,
He was-
after the cast, it's getting installed.
He was only a 3-star toilet.
Oh.
Jimmy's toilet was a 4-star, and now
Well, I mean,
I have to go back to that toilet because I failed. I only got 2.
See, this is why I love these South Park. And again,
It
not
does-
a South Park person. They have to go sci-fi for the next one, I guess.
Star Wars versus Star Trek. Star Wars.
Something like
And
that, yeah. Phasers versus, like,
Lightsaber.
light swords.
There are 3 classes you can choose from.
Excellent.
Kind of the
Is it any of the Jew?
no.
Oh, is the
Jews
black?
are-
The black?
No, the
skin color.
the difficulty
Skin color.
setting is based
That
on your
is still
skin
based
color.
off the skin
Yeah.
color.
Yeah, that's the one.
No,
That was
there's-
this version's, yeah.
I thought they did that in Stick of Truth too.
No, they
No.
did the Jew.
The Jew was the
Oh,
big
was it?
joke, yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
I
there's
guess you can't
skin
be
color
friends.
in this
I guess
one.
you can't be friends.
That's my first chuckle of the game. No, there's a blaster, which is the range
Yep.
person. There's kind of a rocky person where you beat him up. Or there's the speedster. And those are the only 3 options because, as Cartman puts it, you are a noob. So there's the only 3 characters you get to choose from right
But
now.
I'm not a noob. I'm not the new kid anymore.
Well, no, you still are the new kid.
I know, because technically, I guess you're the new kid till a new kid moves in.
A newer kid.
A newer
Yeah.
kid than you.
I mean, that's a DLC. The newer kid.
The newer kid. I'm not the new kid anymore.
They're, instead of Facebook friends,
Yep.
I think it's Instagram friends now.
Okay.
Oh,
Sure.
it's Coongram.
Ah, gotcha.
Coonigram.
Coongram. And so the only way you get those people is if you take a selfie with them.
Of course. that seems like the social media South Park thing.
And
to
that's
do.
all you have to do is you have to influence people to join the Coon and Friends page.
Yep.
And the only way you can do it is selfie them. First one you go up to is an old lady and you just take a selfie with her.
And you can do that with any NPC.
No, you can either have the option of talking to them or they'll have a camera button.
Oh, so you can either talk or
Can't
Take
wait
a
to get a
selfie
selfie
with
with
them.
Al Gore.
But there's
and the Canadian Mounties.
But with some of the
I want
characters in
their
there,
pig.
the more well-known characters, I guess, you have to do side missions to get them to take a selfie with you.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So there's that part.
I'm constantly doing this.
The combat system is
You're
different.
Asian. You're supposed to have one of them sticks.
I do have one of those sticks.
No, but all the time.
Okay.
Like
Oh, okay.
going to Banff and the Calgary Zoo.
Oh, those sticks are...
And there are, like, I mean, my wife and I, like, there's a beautiful set of lights behind you. So you take a picture of the lights because you don't want to, you know. And then you do the whole, like, okay, like, let's
as far as we
square
can.
ourselves in and click.
And clap.
That was my picture last night on Facebook.
Yeah. But, and
as far as my arm could go.
the best part about... this is Kay.
Goodbye.
Side note for Android. But the thanks.
It's broken. No.
It's not broken. The coolest part of the coolest part of Android is now with like the newer operating system and the camera is double tap power button opens camera. Swicking like this goes to the like
Front camera.
It
swaps them.
And then the down button for volume actually takes a picture.
I think iPhones do that too.
There's
which
some
is
similar to it. Yeah.
But it's great because again, we go out to like Lake Louise and it's -16. So you take your hand out of your glove to try and like, you know, take picture and your hand freezes off.
The Samsung's, some of the more modern Samsung camera apps allow you to put your hand in front of the camera to start the timer.
And that makes sense. Well, and I mean, for this one, if you're really that desperate, you just like, hey Google, take a selfie, and it does. But that's what, like, because my wife was like, okay, well here's my, you know, power shot camera from however many years ago. Because again, you can press the button, and I'm like, no need anymore. Click, 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 and she's like, what? And I'm like, the volume down button is if you're on the camera. She's like, well, you still have to get to the camera, and I'm like, double power button.
Her phone does that too, doesn't it?
It does, but
What?
I play around with mine.
She doesn't.
And no,
She plays Candy Crush on
She
hers.
plays Candy Crush.
You being a horse.
She plays Candy Crush and texts people, so.
She's not using that phone to the fullest potential.
Which is fair, I mean.
I guess so. Either way, so South
Yes.
Park.
South Park, you're taking selfies.
Yes, taken so. The fighting system is a bit different.
It's not
As it
turn-based
should be.
anymore.
It's a
grid?
it's still turn based.
Oh,
But it's a
okay.
grid now.
Sweet.
And so
Neat.
your powers, it shows you where you're gonna hit.
I want this on the Switch now.
I've wanted this on the Switch forever, but I mean, I'll take it on the PC for half off.
Yeah, I think it's worth it so far.
The last one was worth it at full price. This one was worth it at full
And I got
price.
the
I just
first one
haven't had
for
time.
free, pretty much.
I bought the first one for like $10.
I just haven't had time. No, I bought the first one like as soon as it came out.
So I mean, it's funny they give you a backstory because when you're
The new
discussing,
kid's got a backstory?
when you're discussing, because you have to have an origin story to become a superhero.
Oh,
So
yes.
your origin story has to have something tragic happen in your past.
Do you write that, or that just...
No, Cartman's walking you through it.
Oh,
It's a
God.
flashback scene, and he's telling you, "Oh, you look in the mirror," and then if you don't go to the mirror, you look in the mirror.
Dumbass.
then you go, and then you just follow his actions of what he
tells you to do.
Of course it's Cartman. Of course Cartman does that.
And of course, a scene from the first one. It doesn't show it, but it's pretty much the same thing of how my superhero origin story. I don't want to spoil it.
No, that's fine.
We'll play it.
I'm going to be playing it shortly. Now you've ruined all my plans for my winter break. I was
Goodbye.
going to Planet Coaster for, you know, most of it, but I guess I'm playing South Park. I can't
You
want to
should
say
play
Star
South Park.
Wars.
You can watch Star Wars and get that out of your system.
I plan to after Christmas.
Yeah. So I mean, other than that, I've still trying Mega Man.
Yeah. How are you?
I'm
I
getting
noticed
better.
you're still here.
I'm
You
getting
haven't
better.
killed yourself yet.
I'm getting better.
You haven't completely self-mutilated yourself yet because of the difficulty.
There was one level I got to a point where when I died, it didn't just throw me back to the start. It was
Thank you.